Good to look at Ayan when they were kids, when he'd bring him warm milk during storms. But not the way someone looks at someone they love. Not the way Ayan wished. You've lost weight, Rael murmured. I'm fine, Ayan replied, too quickly. Just tired. You sure? Rael asked gently. Ayan hesitated, then nodded. Yeah. Sing's voice cut in, sharp and cold. Maybe he's tired because of other things. Ayan blinked. What? Sing didn't look up. He's been seen a lot with him lately. Rayan's frown deepened. Sing. But Ayan already knew who he meant. Rael. Rael. Billionaire, arrogant. Reckless. The man who kissed like fire and spoke like a storm. The man Ayan had poured his broken heart out to, by accident, because he thought it was Rael. Mr. Karana's voice sliced through the air. Is it true? Are you involved with Rael? Ayan's pulse jumped. It's not like that. He's not someone you should be around, his father said firmly. I'm not a child, Ayan snapped, standing up. I can choose who I spend time with. And that's what worries us, Sing muttered. Rael looked between them, clearly confused. What's going on? Ayan's voice shook. For a second, he wanted to scream at everything. But instead, he forced a fake smile. Nothing. Can I be excused? I'm not hungry. Without waiting, he turned and left the table. 10 minutes later, Ayan stood on the penthouse balcony, the cold wind biting at his skin. He hugged himself, trying to breathe past the lump in his throat. This hurt. Seeing Rael and Sing side by side like a damn couple. The silence. The judgments. The pretending. And then. I figured I'd find you out here. The voice made him flinch. He turned. You? Rael leaned against the balcony railing, dressed in a navy suit with his tie undone, like he had just walked out of a movie scene. Ayan stared. How the hell did you get in here? Rael smirked. I have my ways. You can't just follow me everywhere. Can't I? He stepped closer. You always run. I just keep catching up. Ayan turned away. I just needed some air. Rael tilted his head. From what? The weight of your secrets? Or the pain of watching your brother sit next to someone else at dinner? Ayan flinched. You don't know anything. I know more than you think, Rael said, his voice quieter now. I was the one you cried to, remember? That was a mistake. Was it? Rael moved in. Then why haven't you blocked me? Ayan's voice rose. Because you're annoying. Rael smiled. And yet, here I am. And here you are, still listening. Ayan wanted to push him off the balcony. Or kiss him. Or both. I hate you, he whispered. No, you don't, Rael replied softly. You're just scared. Of what? Rael leaned in. Of the fact that I see you. Really see you. And Ayan had no comeback. Because deep down, that was the most terrifying part. Ayan stood near the balcony, his chest still heaving from his argument at the dinner table. The cold wind brushed against his skin, but it didn't calm him. Not tonight. Rael was still there, lounging casually by the balcony rail like he owned the place. I told you to leave, Ayan hissed, panic rising in his voice. Rael arched an eyebrow. And miss all the family drama? No thanks. I'm invested now. Rael, I'm serious. Ayan whispered harshly. If my brother sees you, I'm dead. From inside, footsteps echoed on the marble floor, steady, deliberate. Rael glanced at the balcony door. Too late. Knock. Knock. Ayan? Rayan's voice was soft, concerned. Can I come in? I want to talk. Ayan's face turned pale. He turned to Rael, eyes wide with fear. Hide. Please. If he sees you here, he'll think I've lost my mind. Rael gave a lazy grin. He already thinks that. Especially if he knows you're still talking to a good-for-nothing playboy like me. Rael. Ayan whispered through clenched teeth. Stop talking nonsense and hide. With a dramatic sigh, Rael slipped behind the thick balcony curtains and crouched near the huge potted plant beside the railing. A tree's leafy branches leaned in from the building's garden wall, offering just enough cover. Chapter 8, One Chance. Ayan sat frozen in the chair, the night wind tugging at his shirt. His heart was still racing, not from fear, but from everything left unsaid. His brother's footsteps had faded, but his words lingered like smoke. Tell me what's going on in your heart. As if he even knew any more. I should have said something, Ayan whispered, not realizing he'd spoken out loud. Behind him, Rael stepped forward, his movement quiet but unmistakable. Then say it now. Ayan didn't turn to face him. You heard everything, didn't you? Rael leaned against the balcony railing, eyes on the city below. Every damn word. Ayan finally looked at him, expecting smugness, maybe a flirty comment, anything to ease the tension. But Rael's face was unreadable. No smirk. No sarcasm. Only stillness. You okay? Rael asked after a moment. No, Ayan admitted. But I will be. Rael gave a small nod. You're braver than you think. Ayan let out a short, humorless laugh. I feel like a coward most days. You're not, Rael said firmly. You just haven't had anyone stand beside you long enough to remind you what strength looks like. The words hit deeper than Ayan expected. He looked away, blinking hard. Silence hung between them, thick but not uncomfortable. Then Rael broke it with a quiet voice. Can I ask you something? Ayan didn't answer, but didn't stop him either. Rael took that as permission. He stepped closer, close enough that their knees almost touched. What if I said I wanted a real chance with you? He asked. Not just teasing. Not sneaking around or playing games. Just one real chance. To chase you. To show you I mean it. Ayan's head snapped up. Rael wasn't smirking. His eyes held something raw, hope, maybe, or fear. Maybe both. You? Ayan asked carefully. You want something real? Rael shrugged one shoulder. I know I act like I don't. I know I mess around and piss people off just to get a reaction. But with you? I never had to fake it. Ayan narrowed his eyes. Why now? Rael looked at him. Because I saw the way you stood up to your brother. And the way you crumbled after. And I realized. I don't want to just watch you break. I want to be the one who helps put you back together. Ayan exhaled slowly. That's a dangerous promise to make. I'm a dangerous guy, Rael replied, lips twitching into a small smile. But I'm serious. He reached out, tentative, and touched Ayan's hand, just a brush of fingers. Just one chance, Jean. Ayan blinked. There's that name again. You don't like it? I didn't say that. Rael smiled wider, the first real one Ayan had seen in a while, soft, unguarded. So? Can I chase you? Rael asked, voice barely above a whisper. Like, properly? Flowers, awkward compliments, stolen glances, the whole cliché? Ayan bit his bottom lip, conflicted, his heart said yes, but fear clawed at the back of his mind. Could he really trust this? Trust him? Then he looked at Rael, this reckless boy who hid behind charm and sarcasm, but tonight, stood here stripped of all of it. Yes, Ayan said at last, breath shaky. You can try. Rael's grin was slow, smug, but warmer than usual. That's all I needed to hear. He straightened, suddenly all business. All right, Jean. First date. Tomorrow. 6 p.m. Don't be late. Where? Ayan asked, lips curving despite himself. Rael winked. Surprise. Ayan rolled his eyes. I hate surprises. I know, Rael said with a wink. That's why you'll love mine. He took a step back toward the edge of the balcony, hands in his pockets, looking every bit the troublemaker he claimed to be, except tonight, his mischief had purpose. Oh, and wear something nice, Rael called over his shoulder. Make me regret being a gentleman. Ayan snorted. You were never a gentleman. Not yet, Rael admitted. But I might be. For you. With that, he disappeared through the balcony door, leaving only the sound of his fading footsteps and the beating of Ayan's wild heart. Ayan stared out over the city, breathless and smiling. Just one chance, he whispered. Let's see if you're really ready for this. Chapter 9, One Date, 1,000 Feelings. After Rael left that night, climbing down the way he had come, scaling the wall beside the balcony like some daredevil thief, Ayan stood frozen, gripping the balcony railing so tightly his knuckles turned white. His heart was pounding so fast, he feared it would jump right out of his chest. Why the hell does he do things like that? What if he slipped? Ayan thought, eyes wide with disbelief as Rael disappeared into the darkness below. The image of Rael's hands gripping the edges, his feet stepping confidently along the narrow ledges, refused to leave Ayan's mind even after he collapsed onto his bed. His eyes stared blankly at the ceiling, thoughts swirling like a storm. He turned to the side, then to the other, tugged the pillow over his head, but sleep never came. That night, he didn't sleep at all. By morning, Ayan dragged himself out of bed, groggy-eyed and restless. He barely tasted breakfast, even as his brother and father watched him closely across the table. Where are you going dressed like that? Rael asked, squinting at Ayan's neatly styled hair and soft beige hoodie paired with dark jeans. Ayan hesitated only for a moment. Going to a friend's house. We have a project to complete. College material. His father gave a grunt and nodded, satisfied. Rael, on the other hand, looked like he didn't believe a word. Before they could question him further, Ayan slipped out the front door and almost bumped into the exact person he was trying not to think about. Rael stood there, leaning casually against a sparkling silver sports car, parked right in front of the penthouse gate. His sunglasses glinted in the sun, his black jacket fluttered slightly in the breeze, and that ever-smug smirk danced across his lips. You're late, Rael said, lowering his sunglasses just enough to reveal those maddeningly intense eyes. Ayan blinked at him. You're really doing this? Rael opened the passenger door with a dramatic bow. A date is a date. And I don't half-ass things. Ayan rolled his eyes and slid into the seat, trying, and failing, to keep the corners of his lips from curving up. So, he began, glancing at Rael. Where are we going? Rael's smirk widened. You'll see. 30 minutes later, the car pulled up in front of a colorful sign that read Dream Rush Amusement Park. Ayan stared at the gate, blinking. Are you serious? Rael grinned. Deadly. Today, I'm kidnapping you for pure, chaotic fun. The moment they stepped inside, the air buzzed with energy, music, laughter, the aroma of cotton candy and popcorn. Kids ran around with balloons, couples held hands, teenagers screamed on roller coasters. Ayan looked around, overwhelmed, and maybe just a little bit excited. Their first stop? The haunted house. Do I look like the type who enjoys horror? Ayan narrowed his eyes. Yes, Rael said confidently. No. Too late. Rael took his hand and pulled him inside. The haunted house was dark, filled with eerie whispers and flickering lights. Animatronic ghosts leaped from hidden corners. A blood-covered zombie lunged suddenly, making Ayan yelp and grab Rael's arm with both hands. Rael, I swear to God. Rael tried to keep a straight face, but he was grinning ear to ear. Are you hugging me because you're scared, or because you secretly like me? Shut up, Ayan hissed, still clutching his arm as a skeleton dropped from the ceiling. Rael whispered smugly, I planned this on purpose. You. Ayan punched his shoulder as they emerged back into the daylight. His face was flushed, his heart racing, not just from fear, but from how warm Rael's arm had felt beneath his touch. Next, they went for snacks, bubble tea and spicy potato spirals, before making their way to the roller coaster. Ayan hesitated. I don't do well with drops. Rael raised a brow. Trust me. You'll scream, but you'll thank me. That turned out to be half true. As the roller coaster climbed the steepest hill, Ayan squeezed the safety bar so hard he almost bent it. Rael looked over. Ready? No. They dropped. Ayan's scream was so loud it startled the person 2 rows ahead. Wind whipped through his hair as they twisted and turned, flipped upside down, then dropped again. By the time it stopped, Ayan was laughing breathlessly, hair a mess, eyes wide. I hated you for 30 seconds, he said, panting. Rael grinned. But I kind of loved it. They spent the rest of the day hopping from one ride to another, bumper cars, where Ayan deliberately rammed into Rael, a mirror maze, where Rael got lost and Ayan teased him for 10 minutes, and a giant swing ride where they dangled over the park, their legs swinging free. At the game booths, Ayan tried, and failed, to win a giant teddy bear, while Rael effortlessly knocked down all the cans and handed him the prize. Ayan clutched the teddy, embarrassed but secretly pleased. You're so annoying. But charming, Rael replied. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the park, they sat on a bench near the carousel, sipping lemon soda. Ayan leaned back, watching the lights flicker to life, kids laughing, couples posing for pictures. It's been a long time since I laughed like this, he said quietly. Rael turned to him, voice soft. Then let's do it again. As many times as you want. Ayan looked at him, heart skipping again, not from a haunted house, not from a ride, but from something he wasn't sure how to name yet. He smiled, a little shyly. We'll see. You're still on trial. Rael chuckled. Then I better keep up my perfect record. Ayan leaned back, hugging the teddy bear. Don't mess it up. Rael stared at him like he was the only star in the sky.